guys, welcome to my 12-week bump date. So I'm officially in the last week of my first trimester. So happy about that. Made it through. So happy about that. At 12 weeks, the baby is the size of a plum. And for this bump date, I actually wanted to do something a little bit differently. I wanted to share with you my top 5 tips of how I managed nausea throughout my first trimester. So this pregnancy has been way better than my first pregnancy, nausea-wise. And of course, every pregnancy is different. But there are definitely some things I did in this pregnancy that I think really helped me out. So I'm gonna share those top 5 things with you, and maybe they'll help you out too. So number 1 tip is in the very beginning, when I had actually the most nausea, I drank lemon water. So I would take a big glass of water and I would literally take fresh lemons and squeeze like a whole lemon, if not at least a half of a lemon, into a big glass of water. And for whatever reason, the lemon water totally cut out my nausea. Whenever I was feeling really queasy, I would just go drink some of it and it went away. And it was like a miracle drink, and it was super helpful. I didn't drink it throughout my whole trimester, but when I was like really craving it, that's when I drank it, and that's when it was really helpful. And then I sort of just stopped needing it as the first trimester progressed. Number 2, I ate something as soon as I woke up. So throughout my first pregnancy, I had like a sleeve of those saltine crackers, and I had that by my bed. I carried it around. I took it with me everywhere. Luckily, I have not had to do that with this pregnancy, but what I did have to do, and which made a huge difference, was when I first got up, first out of the bed, I ate something immediately. If I did not eat something, the queasiness and the nausea started to set in, and it was really hard once I've reached that point to kind of balance back out of it. It was a lot easier to prevent reaching that point and to manage my nausea before it really hit. So in the beginning, what I ate was just a piece of toast with butter and jam, and I ate that every single morning for like the first half of the first trimester. And then it switched. I had a different craving and I ate a piece of cheese, cheddar cheese, every single morning when I first woke up. And I'm still doing that today. So when I first wake up, I eat a little bit of cheddar cheese, and it stops me from getting nauseous in the morning. It's amazing. It just gets that little bit of protein or that little bit of something in your stomach before the nausea starts to hit, or at least that's how it's working for me. Number 3. So this is a really hard one. This took a lot of self-discipline, and I was not perfect at it, but I made getting out there and exercising a huge priority in my first trimester. I definitely slowed down a bit for at least a couple weeks, and I probably only got out for a jog like once or twice a week, but those were my worst weeks. What I realized is that even when I felt terrible, if I could push through and get in some kind of exercise, whether it was going for a jog, whether it was going for a walk or a bike ride, or even just doing like a simple at-home YouTube video workout, just something to get my heart rate up, have a little bit of a sweat build, and just like kind of get your body moving. When I was able to do that, I felt so much better. So if I woke up feeling terrible and I could push through and get some exercise in, it just made my whole body feel so much better. My nausea was like way more manageable that day, and it just made me feel a lot better. So I know sometimes exercising, especially in the first trimester, is like the last thing I know I wanted to do, but I just felt so much better if I was able to go out there and do it. So I would definitely highly recommend pushing through, and even if it's just the simplest walk around the block, I really think it's gonna help make you feel better. Number 4, I really try to drink a lot of water, and I have been trying to track how much water I've been drinking. I have like a big mason jar, and I try to drink like at least 2 of those, Doesn't always happen, but on the days when I drink a lot of water, I felt a lot better. I definitely noticed that my nausea would be way less if I was super hydrated. I think being dehydrated definitely can trigger the nausea, because there was days when it was like super hot out and I wasn't drinking a lot of water, and those were definitely my more nauseous days. So definitely drink your water and maybe your lemon water, because that's great too. Finally, number 5. So number 5 is continuing to eat throughout the day. So I was always eating a lot of food in like the morning to the afternoon, and then I would kind of, for whatever reason, would stop eating, and then it would be the closer it got to dinner time, actually my nausea would pick up. I know a lot of people deal with a lot of morning nausea and then it gets better throughout the day. For me, it was actually at the end of the day that it got the worst, and it was because I wasn't eating. So I wasn't balancing my blood sugar, I wasn't like filling my body with nutrients. My stomach was getting too empty. So if I let my stomach get too empty, that's when the nausea definitely hit. So I learned, okay, I'm not super hungry right now, nothing really sounds good, but I need to eat just something little. Just something little. It could again be like a little bit of cheese, or like maybe some peanut butter toast, or something really simple probably, but just something in my stomach to hold me until dinner. And what happened is, actually, if I would skip an afternoon snack, it was so hard to eat dinner. Nothing sounded good for dinner. Dinner has been the biggest struggle meal-wise for me throughout this first trimester. Dinner has been the worst because nothing ever sounds good for dinner, and it's usually because I have an empty stomach, so I'm starting to feel nauseous, and all food sounds disgusting. But the longer I wait to eat, the more nauseous I get. So it's really a vicious like cycle. It's not fun. But if I was to eat a snack, it went a lot smoother, and I could maybe even make something for dinner that was like a real meal and healthy, and it was just a lot better whenever I ate those afternoon snacks. So definitely continuing to eat small meals throughout the day really helped me out. Those are my top 5 tips on how I managed nausea throughout my first trimester. I was really lucky this pregnancy to not have terrible morning or all day sickness. I know a lot of women out there struggle with that, and I feel so badly for you, because even just feeling nauseous is the worst. It's just, you don't feel good, and I know how hard that can be. But I hope you try these tips if you are struggling with nausea. I hope they help you. Leave them down in the comments below, and if you have your own tips on how you manage nausea maybe throughout your own pregnancy, definitely leave those down in the comments below. I know these are kind of general tips, so you can read like any article about how to help manage nausea, and these tips are probably on there, but for whatever reason I did not follow them with my first pregnancy. So I did some things different this time around, and I feel like I made a really big difference, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So definitely thumbs up this video if you thought it was helpful, and I'll see you guys next week. Period. Also, thumbs up for making it through the first trimester. Pretty much over. Yay.